On this episode, don't be stupid when it comes to fuel storage. This is Desert Homestead Prepping. Make sure to like and subscribe and hit that bell for notifications. Welcome back. So we're heading back out to the property for another week. Hopefully for a week we're going to try and fit it in. Had to make a stop here to get some ethanol free gas and filling up our barrel. This is really a vital part of emergency supplies, is to make sure you have the fuel that you need. We got four-wheelers, you know, the generator, and it's just really good to have some extra fuel. This is for emergency use, therefore we really don't want to use it. We want to kind of have it there stored, ready for, you know, maybe a grid down situation or something like that. So, how full is it getting? So, but after so long, we want to rotate it out. So we have rotated this out and used everything that was out of it. Time to get fresh fuel. And we decided we better get it now because, you know, with the supply chain breakdown and so much that's going on, we figure we better get it now. So that's what I'm doing, getting this topped off, and then we'll be on our way out to the property. We got to get this barrel of fuel out of this trailer. So me and Gabe are going to try and tackle this. We'll probably pull the truck over here closer to the cabin. So we've been putting this fuel right underneath the covered patio in front of the cabin, just to keep it out of the sun. So when I first started filling these barrels with fuel, I just got normal unleaded gas in this one. The other one has diesel fuel. And after we had filled it up with unleaded, I had realized that I didn't want to have just regular unleaded, that I wanted to have ethanol free, because we were constantly rebuilding the carburetors on the four-wheelers and the generator, because that regular unleaded gas has that ethanol in there that'll guck up carburetors. So I had changed my mind and decided to take the barrel back to the house and put it in our vehicles and run it out, and then switch over to ethanol free. So back then, these barrels were black. We have some more barrels over here that are still black, and they had vegetable oil in them. So when I took it back to the house, I had it on the trailer, and it was in the summer, and I'd parked the trailer off in the shade and figured, okay, this is a good spot for it. And the next day I had to go to work, and when I came home from work, the trailer was not in the shade like I thought it was. And I looked and I saw that barrel, and I was like, oh my goodness, this barrel is in the sun. And I went and felt it, and it was so hot. And I was like, I have to get that fuel out of that, like, immediately. And looking back on it, I probably should have maybe tried to spray it down with some cold water to try to cool it off or something different. But what I did was I went and got my barrel pump and decided, okay, I'm just going to hurry up and pump some of this into the multiple gas cans that I have. And so when I pulled the cap off, I let it just kind of bleed off the fumes, and figured, okay, you know, I've got the pressure out of it from the heat. And so I pulled this cap off, and I instantly watched the gas start to boil in there. And it shot out of this cap like crazy, and I hurried up and put the cap on. I mean, fuel's all over me. And I'm like, oh my goodness, now what do I do? So I just hurried up and grabbed the barrel pump and stuck it in there as fast as I could. My phone fell off where I had it standing. So yeah, so I was able to hurry up and pump a bunch of that fuel off into cans. And I mean, I was thinking back on that and just praising God that it didn't spontaneously combust or something like that. I got fuel all over me and all over our driveway when it happened. And it was after that that I realized that we really needed to paint these and paint them white. And so ever since then, they've done really good being white. And it was a no-brainer. And you know, after that situation had happened, I felt really stupid, where I was like, well, duh, you know, black is gonna really soak in the heat, and you know, having it in the sun was just not really too smart at all. So thankfully, through trial and error, I learned that we wanted to make sure that these were out of the sun and that they were white. And so we've had them for years, and we haven't had any problems with them at all. So now we have fresh fuel in this. So to make this last longer, I get some of that stable, you know, fuel stabilizer. It doesn't have to be the name brand Stable. I think all the different brands will work just fine. Just want to get a gasoline fuel stabilizer. And this is another reason why we need more storage, because I really don't like the idea of these sitting right in front of our cabin. Want to be able to move these over to the other shed and have them in a place that's going to be accessible and out of the sun. So hopefully, as we get more time, we'll be able to get the other shed completed and start getting some of this stuff organized and out of the way. And you know, who knows if we're going to ever be fully organized out here. I mean, kind of the life of building a homestead seems like there's just going to be some kind of clutter, but I don't think it has to be as bad as it is. And we'd like to get to a place where it's much more organized than how it is now. All right, well, we're going to kind of pull this to a spot where we can get this off of the trailer easier. Next time we'll back up a little bit to how the conditions were when we first pulled into the property, and we'll go through a few odd and end projects that we need to take care of before the big freeze. Be sure to keep us in your prayers, and we wish you all the best. Take care.